Okay, we're back at the Baton Rouge Blues Festival 2025, the WRKF Behind the Blues stage. My name is Herman Fuselier. It's my pleasure to interview Hanna PK. Hanna, welcome to the stage.
Hello, thank you.
How's it going with you?
Very good. Can't complain.
Has it been a good blues festival for you? Or
Yes, it really has been.
yeah,
And in fact, I've been playing at this festival for a few years, and this really has become one of my favorite week of the whole year,
okay,
honestly.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
First thing that comes to my mind is, I've been to many festivals, especially blues festivals, but Baton Rouge Blues Festival is really the most diverse
Okay,
blues festivals I've seen, not just the acts, but also the people that come to enjoy it.
yeah,
And that just makes me feel so good to see the audience, and I see all kind of people enjoying this music. And it's unfortunately not the case in some other areas,
okay,
and Baton Rouge is very special for that.
okay. So in other areas, you notice people aren't enjoying it, or it's a different
Well,
response? Or?
certain festivals, it's not as diverse.
I
Maybe
see.
the
Yes.
music has maybe, I don't know, grown out of it. I don't know. But in Baton Rouge, I think thanks to the endless talents that are here, and also because of such a rich history,
Yeah.
I think just this, all kind of people seem to enjoy this festival, and that's just such a vibrant and wonderful thing to see.
Yes, amen to that. I agree with you. How do you describe your music? We're at the Blues Festival and it's called blues, but I listen to your music. I hear blues, I hear pop, I hear jazz. How do you describe it?
Right. In general, when I go out to just play any show, I can say a big portion of what I do definitely comes from the blues and jazz. But just I think naturally, as an artist, you kind of pick up on a lot of different things you have run into.
Yeah,
And talking about genre is always something difficult for me because it's not something I think about,
yes,
or I try to do this. It's not like I'm trying to be a blues musician. It's not like I'm trying to be a jazz musician.
yeah,
I just play what I love, and that comes out that way. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, no, I
Yeah.
follow.
Yeah.
And along the way, you hear all sorts of styles of music and influences. So all that's part of your sound.
Right, because there's even one song I wrote that's using very traditional Korean song as a motive, like from hundreds of years ago.
Wow.
So it really just depends. But blues is definitely a big part of just kind of what I do.
Yeah. And original lyrics are important for you too.
Yeah, like my album, which was recorded here in Baton Rouge, actually, that was produced by Mr. Kenny Neal. There's only one cover song, and the rest of it was all my
Wow.
original songs.
Which is not easy to do, but then you're leaving your mark. It's your music that you're performing.
Well, especially English being my second language, it used to be a lot harder. I want to say more, but yeah, so writing the lyrics is definitely harder than writing the music part for me, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you had a long journey. You're from South Korea, and now you live here in Baton Rouge. I know there's a lot in between there, but just how did you start in music in general, playing music?
I always loved music growing up, and
Okay.
in fact, my father is a musician. But because my father is a musician, I thought I should not be a musician.
Why not?
Well, I love my father, don't get me wrong. I love that man, but living with it,
Yeah.
was a struggle. And my parents ended up not staying together, and
Okay,
my
yeah.
mom raised me and my brother. So I guess, I thought, yeah, looking at my mom working so hard to raise us, I felt it's my responsibility to get a good job, and pay back all the effort she put into. So I went to college for a business degree.
Okay.
And then just different things happened. I came to America, and just one night I just started playing at an open mic. And I guess it's one of those things where you resist, but certain things still just takes you on that journey.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to be a musician now, but I
Okay.
try hard not to be.
I understand.
Yes.
So what type of music did your father play?
He really liked all kind of music, but he did like a lot of Western music, hard rock and some blues, But the thing is, I don't think he had access to a lot of real blues music. And if
Okay.
he did, I think he would have really loved it.
Yeah.
But he definitely liked blues influenced music. And I think that's why I was always familiar with certain sounds. I just didn't know what it was that was grabbing me until I heard the real blues.
Okay. Okay.
And when we were growing up, all the other kids were listening to K-pop, but I was listening to what he was listening to, which was nice because some kids would try to borrow your CD player and stuff,
Yeah.
and they'll see what I'm listening to, and they're like, "Oh, well, you can keep that."
They give it back to
so
you.
I
huh?
never had to, let those bad kids take my CD players and stuff.
Well, was your dad a piano player?
His main instrument is actually a guitar.
Okay.
But he does play a little bit of everything because he used to be a band leader and things like that, so it kind of comes natural for him.
I see. So how did you get with the piano?
He, my parents really didn't have so much. I mean, we lived in a house where water was leaking every time it rained, but it was important for him to get a piano for some reason. So we had a piano since I was a little kid.
Okay.
So I think just started playing just like it because it was while I was there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
did your dad teach you, or how did you learn to do it?
I did take some lessons when I was little, but I still remember I was a really little kid, and he and I sat down at the piano, and he tried to teach the scale, and then he made me turn around and see if I can name the notes.
Yes. Yes.
I remember that. And I think a lot of the most fundamental things that's still helping me these days when it comes to music, my dad taught me for sure.
Oh wow. Oh, that's interesting. So you got to start with the fundamentals always.
Just
So,
something that's so important that sometimes you don't learn in class.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned about going to business school, and then so what made that decision for you? Just I'm going to be a musician. It's just
So I still I had a regular, 9 to 5 type of job at the time. And I studied, I guess, so-called gigging on the side. So, I'll run off to do a gig after the job and weekends. And then, the cubicle life, you just wonder about what it will be like if I put all my effort into music just once in my life, what would happen since I started so late. But just walking away from that security, especially not having someone to really rely on, if anything happens, it was kind of scary.
yeah.
But I was slowly getting into it. But then in 2017, sadly, my mom passed away. So brokenhearted and just feeling so lost. And that somehow, in a way, just gave me an opportunity to, I guess, switch over because I didn't feel that much need anymore. Like, I'm giving up on something that's really calling me over this paycheck
Yeah.
that's promised, but then it's really not promised because, you
Right,
don't know
right.
what's going to happen. So, so about 17, I quit my job. It was hard, still hard, because
Yeah.
my boss really tried to make me stay.
But it's
And,
been a good decision for you overall, you think?
Yeah, financially not so much. I was making good money, but it's so interesting because now I'm my own boss.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the best things. So it's been hard to go back. Like, I think about it sometimes, but it's so nice to be your own boss. Yeah.
It sounds like to you needed a way to express yourself with your mom passing away. You had something inside of you want to get out.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes there are a lot of songs I think I've written that has to do with her. And sometimes it's actually too hard to sing them. So
Yeah.
I don't always do it. But it's definitely a good, it's definitely a blessing. And I do, wish for everyone to have something they can do that with. You know, it could be music, art, it could be just reading a book, it could be just looking at the mountain and the river out there, and
Yeah.
just something. Otherwise, we'll just all go crazy. Yeah.
But you've shared a lot of your life on the record because you have about your parents' divorce and your mom with the song "Dirty Dishes."
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
talk about that?
Oh, I'm surprised you know that song because it's not on the album, but I did play yesterday when I was playing a solo set. But my mother raised me and my brother by running a little catering business, restaurant. And it was like built out of a container material. It wasn't even a solid building. And she delivered food to different factories and little businesses. And you know, in America, we use a lot of disposable plates, styrofoam plates, but
Yeah.
my mom actually delivered them in regular bowls and plates.
Okay.
So we had to go back everywhere we delivered to pick up those dishes after lunch hour, and we used to wash all of them by hand. So as soon as I got my driver license, she taught me how to drive, and we'll go pick it up. Sometimes I'll just go by myself to pick up those dirty dishes. And so the song is about that experience
Yeah.
and how, you know, just I still imagine those days. And it was such a hard work, especially summertime. It gets so hot there, but it's just actually about reminiscing how precious that time was. Because, you know, when you're doing the hard work with someone you love, it is still
Yeah.
a very precious time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw you mention in an interview too. The work was really, really hard, but your mom struggled with alcohol too around that same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's all part of his story, part of
Right,
okay.
and she taught me so much about life and so much about how to treat other people. Because I used to be a lot more pessimistic,
Okay.
and I wasn't very social. And my mom was this person that everybody loved. I mean, my mom's restaurant was where everybody hung out. They play card games there. They just drop in, drink coffee, whatever, you know. She was just that kind of person. And just, you know, I felt like I should help her every day. And while just being with her, I think it rubbed up on me. Then I became a lot more social person just being with my mom.
Yeah, interesting. So, how did you end up from South Korea to the United States? What brought you here?
I actually met someone from here. I mean, not Baton Rouge, but from America many years ago.
Yeah.
And that relationship didn't work out. But I moved to America right after I graduated from college.
Okay.
So all my work experience was in the States. So it was easier to stay here than starting over, going back and starting over, you know, with my
Yeah.
career at
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
So I ended up living in Rochester, New York for quite some time.
Okay. Now, before Rochester, you were in Texas for a while?
Just a very little, briefly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was your first experience with the United
In
States?
America, yeah, which was so different. My first meal in America, I still remember, it was catfish and okra. And the reason I picked that dish was because both names I never heard in my life. And I made sure that I was not eating cat. It was catfish and okra.
Yeah, yeah. And then New York came, but that's where you sort of put your performance career together. You started
That's
performing
where I
in New York.
studied, yeah, Rochester.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
How,
brought out
how,
of home.
how did you start? With the gig? You were doing some gigs there?
Yeah, I was just at this random dive bar, people call it, and they were having this open mic night. And there was a little keyboard, so I asked if I could play with the band. And I did, and someone saw me playing. And then just one after one, someone told me, hey, if you learn 40 songs, you can get a gig. I'll give you a gig at this restaurant.
Okay.
So I learned 40 songs, and then I started gigging.
What's some of the songs you used to play?
I think I just started with all kind of American songs that I kind of heard or knew
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit of. So, you know, there were a lot of, you know, Beatles, some Ray Charles, and just the different, you know.
Yeah, just things you kind of like. Sort of.
Yeah.
So after New York, what was next for you?
Then really Baton Rouge.
And what brought you to Baton Rouge?
At first time I visited was because I got invited to record that album with Kenny. Because I have seen Kenny a couple of times and we were at the same festival up in New York one time, and he happened to see a little video clip I posted that I recorded in my U-Haul storage room, and he really liked what he saw, so he so kindly offered to help me get started in more the national scene by recording this album back in 2020. And that's when I first came to visit. And then I met someone here. So all these different things, professionally, personally, things just kind of brought me here.
Okay. So the first album, well, you recorded in a U-Haul
Stories, yeah.
store. How was that? That sounds nightmarish to me almost. Just the sounds and just how did you make it sound good?
Oh, it was actually just cell phone video.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that was kind of a groovy storage room.
Okay.
I had a little piano, they call it tam-tam piano, which only has 5 octaves. So it's easy to load into the van and maybe do like a busking or something. That's why I bought it. But I lived in one room, I was just renting a room. So I didn't have a lot of space, but I have a lot of gears. So I always have a storage room. So the piano was in the storage room. So it was just acoustic piano and me singing without a mic recorded on a cell phone.
Yeah, well, that's good. And so the album is Blues All Over My Shoes.
Yeah.
And how has it done for you? What's been the response to it?
It surprises me when I travel how sometimes like radio DJs and people would tell me about it, because to me it's still kind of crazy that some people that don't know me had heard my music. So that's been really good for me to just know like how the music can travel, even places I haven't been.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like it's time to record again, and I tend to overthink. So to decide on something big like that, I get nervous and I think about all the things. Oh, what if I mess up and waste my studio time? But I really I have a lot of songs that I want to record, and I feel like I grew up a lot in the last 5 years. That's a long time, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
What's some
Got
of your favorite songs you did on the first one? What do you like?
performance-wise, like how I did, I really like Insomnia Blues, how
Okay.
they came out.
All right.
That's my favorite track.
Is there a story behind that song?
Yes, just like the title, I used to have really bad insomnia.
Okay.
It's gotten a lot better, but really couldn't sleep. And even if I did, I would have a lot of nightmares,
Oh,
a
wow.
lot of vivid nightmares. So I thought, oh, I at least should write a song about it.
How's this insomnia? Is it better now?
It got better, but for a lot of different reasons, I think it gotten better. I mean, emotionally, mentally, I gotten healthier. But
Good.
also, at the time, I was eating really, really spicy Korean ramen noodle almost every night before bed.
Okay.
But then I did some research and I heard that spicy food can induce nightmare. Just
Ah.
people know out there if they're
I
having,
did not know that.
don't eat spicy Korean ramen noodle before bedtime.
Good advice, sounds like. Yeah. Now, you mentioned growing as a musician over the last 5 years since the last recording. Just how have you changed? How have you grown, you'd say?
Just getting old is a part of
At the
it.
ripe old age of what? How old are you?
I just turned 40 this year.
Okay, wow. I didn't think
But
that.
now it's officially recorded, so may my age. But also, just every gig teaches you something, especially someone like me who started so late, so I don't got a lot of experience. So for the last 5 years, I got to experience some of the shows, like even Baton Rouge Blues Festival, something I never dreamed of doing.
Yeah.
And I think those things all help me grow as a musician. And hopefully, when we record again, people can hear that growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have any songs waiting to record, or you hadn't really started yet?
Oh,
for
there
the
are
next one?
definitely few that I'm pretty sure I will put on, and I do want to write a few more songs.
Okay, cool. So what does the rest of the year look like for you?
I love still going back up to New York to play. So that's gonna happen. And one of the major influence for me, real bluesman, his name Mr. Joe Beard.
Okay.
He's originally from Mississippi, but he's actually lives in Rochester, and he's coming down to Ground Zero in Mississippi in a month, and he called me up to come play with him. So I'm really excited about that opportunity because he's the one that I got to play so much blues with. And a lot of times, because maybe I'm an Asian girl that plays the piano, a lot of people ask, especially up in Rochester, "Hey, did you go to Eastman School? Did you, learn classical piano? Where did you learn? What school did you learn how to play like that?" And
They think you're a student.
right, but then I always say, "Oh, I learned from people like Joe Beer, people like John Cole, people like listening to Henry Gray." So I mean, he is one of the teachers, so I get to perform with him, in the state where he was born. So it's really exciting. So that's the next thing I'm very looking forward to.
Do you encounter a lot of musicians your age or younger playing the blues or what you play?
Well, just now I saw John Tavius playing down the street, like walking down, and he's a very young man, and
Yeah.
he's doing a fantastic work out there. There's my piano player friend Ben Levin. He's just really young kid too. Yeah. So, and Miguel and I had performed with DK, and he's a very young kid. And
Yes, I interviewed D.K. Harrell earlier.
yeah.
He's a
So
great
yeah,
interview.
good to see a lot of young people.
With all your experiences, what advice would you give a young musician wanting to follow in your footsteps?
Oh, I don't know if I don't know. I feel like I should take the advice from other people,
But you've done a lot.
at
You've been
least
through a
just
lot.
not even just as a musician, but someone who lived few decades.
Yeah.
I want to say that we gotta look at music as something bigger than ourselves, but we get so caught up with me, my career, and I don't know. The older I live, and you lose people that are really dear to you, and you just don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. So really, I think put your mind to something that's important, that's I think forever, which is really your heart, spirit.
Yeah.
Somehow it's gonna carry us through the life is, right? So I hope that people don't get too caught up with success, fame. Those things are nice to have,
Yeah.
but I don't believe they are the most important.
Yeah. I love that quote. Music is a lot bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
Which
And
is
then
a lot of truth
sometimes
to
when
that.
I get nervous, if I think about it, I get a little less nervous because, I think not so much about me, but then when I stop that thought process,
Yeah. But the money's still good too. You got to pay the bills.
money,
Yeah.
right. So I mean, and when it comes to money, I think when you do the best you can each time, it'll come to you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So any goals you want to accomplish in music, or just what do you like 20 years from now? Where would you like to be? What would you like to be doing?
Wow, if I could still somehow make living doing the music in 20 years from now, I would actually be very, very happy.
Yeah.
But if not, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But not just as a musician, but as a person, 20 years from now, I still want people to remember as, I did my best to be kind. And that's pretty much.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. How can people keep up with you? You on social media?
Yes, not as much as I probably should, because it kind of drives you crazy, and I really do need to update my website.
Okay.
Because I do play in town, but it's not out there yet. But
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and do that this week.
Okay.
But yeah, social media, it's Hanna PK Music. My name's actually HANNA. So that's the only thing that I normally tell people about.
Okay.
But yeah.
So if they Google you, they can find out where you are.
Yeah. All the normal stuff out there, I try to be on. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Hannah, congratulations so far, and you got a lot ahead of you. So keep on keeping on.
Thank you so much.
Fun following your career.
It's been an honor to be part of this festival. Really, yeah. I'm really very grateful.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.